Well, so I heard a story that out on the plains where you have these bison that run wild, and there you have these big ranches where they have cattle, when a storm's coming, the bison will turn, you know this one? And they'll face and even walk into the storm.
They're the only animal.
They're the only animal that will turn and walk into the storm, whereas cattle and horses will all try to run the other way, to get away from it. And
so the theory is that they believe, or
their mentality is to go ahead and take it
and get it over with.
Get it over with. It's going to happen. Taking it over with.
But the rest of the animals aren't smart enough to know that they're running with the storm.
They're running with it, which endures how long it has to. The pain has going to last. Hey folks, Lester here. You know, we were fortunate enough to be able to see those bison in real life. And like Jamie and I both said, we had never in our life seen real bison until yesterday. And then it had reminded me of that story I'd heard. Oh no. Oh no. Dang it. Goose egg in my pocket. Why are you poking me? Why are you poking me? I busted a goose egg in my pocket by trying to run from those darn geese. Sweetie, why are you poking me? What do you want? Oh man, that's gross. So seeing those bison yesterday and then talking about the differences between how they handle adversity in your life, even though we may brought up bison in that instance, don't you sometimes think about some of the animals here are very, very similar to the bison and how they confront and Sweetie, what do you... I'm trying to have one of those life lesson talks that I do sometimes, baby. Sweetie, that kind of... I would like to have one of those little life lesson kind of talks that I do sometimes when I talk... Baby. Ouch! Enough. That's enough. When they get to the ear, that's when I draw the line. I am not one of those ear kind of people. That actually really hurts, and I think there may be blood. I think there may actually be blood. I can't tell because the sun's in my camera. I think there may actually be blood, guys. If not... Now there's a bee trying to get my ear. Blood. Okay, move. Get off of there. Come off the side by side. Come on, get in. I gotta go. I'm getting attacked by bees and mean ostriches. Move. Y'all are not taking the easy way out. Go fight the storms of life. Be a bison. I'm gonna be a cow. Get out of there. Pebbles, you gotta get down, baby. I'm being attacked here. Look. Pebbles. Hold on. Baby, go be a bison. Come on. Guys, I may need two hands here. Look at my ear. Y'all do see what I see, yes? Y'all do see what I see. What am I doing? Lester, what are you doing? Sitting here talking about bison and how they stand up in the face of adversity. Then you get bit in the ear by an ostrich and try to turn and run like a cow. Okay, maybe that's not exactly the way it was meant to come out. I really did have a great life lesson here because I had been reading some emails. So I came out this morning with an idea, something that's been on my mind. Ever since I saw the bison yesterday, and then I was reminded of the story about how they are the only animal in nature that faces adversity, just turns right into it and gets the worst over with. Whereas other animals in nature choose to turn and run, try to outrun the storms of life. and ends up making it harder on themselves. So then I come out this morning and I see Annie run right up to Maggie. Move, go. You're gonna get hurt by baby. Sorry folks, I got something on my mind, and I gotta also look out for my little Maggie. That's good enough right there, just to keep Annie. Annie, go eat, baby Maggie's fine. You know, seeing her as maybe a threat to all the babies around me. And then, of course, I see the geese. Baby, be sweet. Then I see the geese come right up to me the way they do. Move. Move. God darn it. And Carl, you know, the way as protective, and Tex as protective. And so it makes me kind of like realize that it's maybe bison are the ones that we use and we illustrate as far as seeing the storms of life and going right up into it, knowing it's going to happen and just getting through it. Animals, farm animals, may be similar in the way that they see threats to the herd and they will go ahead and go right up to it and just do their thing instead of turning and running and hiding in the corner. And it just reminds me of a lot of people who have written to us, emails, and some of the stuff I read in comments about people who handle life's adversities the same way. It may not be an actual physical storm that people turn and run from or people have to face head on. But if you look at it in more of a figurative sense, you know, we are faced with storms all the time. And that could be health issues or relationship woes, finances, you know, some of the things that we've talked about in other videos. And it really does matter. So the particular story that I think is a very powerful one that I can't share exactly the way it was written to me because the lady asked me not to. But a mom writes about her two daughters who were being sexually molested by the stepdad. And the mom said that her and the stepdad had different work schedules, and so of course the molestations were happening while she was at work, and she had no idea because the older daughter who had experienced it first didn't tell. Somehow the stepdad had convinced her not to tell, or she's going to be in trouble if she tells, or she's going to lose privileges if she tells, or whatever the case may be. And so the older daughter, who was 12, allowed this to happen for a while. And this breaks my heart. But the older daughter finally came forward whenever she noticed that the stepdad had turned his attentions to the younger daughter, who was only 7. And at that point, the older daughter had to stand up and just face the storm instead of turning and running or looking the other way, or, you know, knowing that her storm may be over. There was no way she was going to allow her little sister to have to face that storm. And so, despite the consequences, in which were horrific as far as what happened with the family and how having the, you know, a kid at that age having to do the, you know, testifying and talking and you know how difficult that has to be. And I don't have experiences like that, y'all. I have no idea how tough that must be on a child or on a parent, especially the child. But the mom talks about, when we say that we're all survivors of something, it's true that there's a lot of us, you know, think about the animals, obviously. And then we think of ourselves as adults and how we, you know, we have to overcome health issues and other things in our life. But I never thought about how even kids, y'all, even kids. And so I give a lot of praise to that little 12-year-old girl. And I guess that was on my mind this morning. I was thinking about that story yesterday when we were able to visit with Daniel and he showed us the bison. And I almost talked about it there, but I didn't want to get emotional in front of Daniel and his wife. But I hadn't stopped thinking about it since. And as we drove home last night, I told Jamie about the letter I'd received. And I haven't talked about it with you guys because she asked me not to share. So obviously I didn't share the name. I did not read the letter. And there's a whole lot of other details that she included. But she did say in her letter that she reminded me that we are all survivors of something. And so she, as a mom, is a survivor of having to live with the fact that her daughters were put in that situation and she was completely unaware of it. Do those guineas not know that I'm trying to make a video here? And then, of course, the older sister who had to live with that. There they go. And then the younger sister who had to deal with it, not for near the amount of time that the older sister had to, but how strong of a sister did it take to whatever the dad had used, the stepdad had used, to keep her quiet for as long as he did, for her to finally say, no, not my little sister, not my little sister. You've done it to me long enough, but you're not going to touch my little sister. And that just kind of makes me feel hurt. And then, you know, I haven't even addressed this part. But what about the dad? The actual dad, the biological dad? You know, a lot of times people don't look at the perspective of the biological dad whenever a divorce happens and, you know, parents go their separate ways, that the biological dad is put at a distance to where he may not be able to be as in tune with his family as he would like to. And, you know, hopefully whatever the divorce decree awards the dad as far as time, he gets enough time with his daughters or his sons, his children, to build enough trust to where they have the ability to talk to him. This just breaks my heart for so many of these people. And this is just one story, y'all. This is just one story of, I'm sure there are so many. But I can't imagine how I would feel if I came to find out that Lex, you know, who's only 10, or, you know, of course, Ellie's older now, but if I'd ever had to have found out that while I was not able to be there to protect them and to watch over them, something horrible was happening. You know, because as a parent, you just want to give all that you can to protect your children. And so it's neat watching Annie protect her flock and the geese protect, you know, the flock and each other. And it just kind of brought back that connection of yesterday with the bison. I guess if there is any kind of connection, I'm kind of making one. I can see a connection here, but if there's anything in your life that you can connect to, maybe it might be easier to remember this little life lesson. Be the bison. Be the bison. When life throws something at you, I really do think that maybe, and I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but when life throws something at you, don't worry and fret and run from it. Because if it's going to catch up to you eventually, it's going to be more of a long and drawn out process. But instead, go ahead and stand up and face that storm. Face it head on. And you know what? Take it and deal with it. And as harsh and as hard as it may be, you'll get through it faster. Because you're not going to outrun every storm of life, my friends. You're not going to be able to outrun every storm in life. My ear is bleeding. I'm not mad at her. She plays this way. And it's a game that I thought was always cute until it happened to my ear. Thank y'all for listening to me ramble on this morning, for taking the time to watch the babies have their breakfast, and just for all that y'all do. And I especially want to thank you folks who share your stories. Those who share your stories with me. I don't know sometimes if I'm worthy to be the recipient of such personal stories, but there must be a reason, and there has to be a reason you want to have your story told, even if not to the world or to the folks who follow my page or one of the Morrow family pages. You want your story to be heard. You need to talk about that, and I'm honored and I'm blessed to hear your stories. Some of the neatest ways to kind of cleanse your soul is to hear that other people have been in very similar struggles, and most times even harder struggles than what you're going through. You think that life is throwing you a curveball and there's not a whole lot you can do, and you just kind of have that doomsday mentality, and then you find out that there's people who have it a whole lot worse than you do. So I'm going to continue on with my farm chores. I want to thank y'all for listening to me this morning, and for always supporting me in my tough times. And just be kind to each other and keep an eye on each other, y'all, because you never know who's out there going through a storm. And no matter how strong they're trying to be, I promise you there is even more strength in numbers. And I'm struggling to get past the gate. It's going to be that kind of day. Y'all have a good one. I love you guys.